Title: Biden's Epic Pride Party, 1,000 Invites, Betty Who, and a big I got your back message to LGBTQ+. TLDR. President Joe Biden tosses an epic bash to celebrate Pride Month, inviting thousands of LGBTQ+ folks and pop sensation Betty Who. Amid growing concern in the LGBTQ+ community over increasing state-level discriminatory legislation, Biden lays out new initiatives offering protection, mental health support, and a stand against book bans. Underneath the sparkling disco ball at the White House, it's time to celebrate Pride Month with a unique vibe. And who's throwing the party? None other than President Joe Biden, who's rolling out the rainbow carpet for thousands of LGBTQ+ individuals. And guess what? Even pop diva Betty Who is on the guest list. The event isn't just about fun and games. It's a loud and proud statement of support during a time when the LGBTQ+ community is feeling more under attack than ever, thanks to a flurry of state-level discriminatory legislation. Biden's here to say, I got your back. Biden's party plans weren't just about confetti and face paint, though. The president is also unveiling new initiatives to shield LGBTQ+ communities from the sting of attacks. He's putting his money where his mouth is, allocating resources to help LGBTQ+ youth with mental health issues and homelessness, while standing up against book bans. So, what's that saying about actions speaking louder than words, huh? On the turntables, we've got Queen HD, the DJ spinning the tunes. Betty Who's lighting up the stage. The White House's openly gay press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, stands testament to Biden's support for LGBTQ+ appointments in the federal government. Power moves all around, right? The Human Rights Campaign, the country's largest advocacy organization for LGBTQ+ individuals, earlier this week rang the alarm bells, declaring a state of emergency. They reported an alarming rise in anti-LGBTQ+ bills, with more than 525 introduced and 70 signed into law so far, which is double last year's figure. So, is Biden's move timely or what? Now let's talk about some of the nitty-gritty. Biden's efforts include teaming up the Department of Homeland Security with the Justice and Health and Human Services departments. Together, they'll work with LGBTQ+ organizations to provide safety resources and training to prevent violent attacks. Plus, there's a plan to combat the surge in book bans that are stifling democracy and contributing to the stigma and isolation felt by LGBTQ+ youth. Is it just us, or is someone hitting all the right notes here? Polls are showing growing support for LGBTQ+ rights over the last couple of decades. Around 7 in 10 U.S. adults believe marriages between same-sex adults should be legally valid and that gay and lesbian relationships are morally acceptable. But, when it comes to transgender rights, the situation gets a bit murkier. A majority of Americans seem to support laws preventing discrimination against transgender people, but many also back restrictive policies, like banning transgender women and girls from participating in sports teams that align with their gender identity. Among the party poopers, we have the log cabin Republicans, representing LGBTQ+ conservatives. They've called out the Human Rights Campaign's declaration of a state of emergency as a PR stunt. They argue that the campaign is redefining support for LGBTQ+ individuals around controversial issues.